Here's a dirty secret most people don't know. 70% of the popular ice cream brands you once loved are no longer ice cream. They are now frozen dairy desserts. And of the 30% left, some have had deadly listeria outbreaks and mislabeling problems that have resulted in several hospitalizations and a few deaths. I'm exposing 17 ice cream brands to never buy and 9 you can trust. We're starting with the brands that risk your health for a quick buck. Number 17. Great Value. Great Value has been hailed as one of the best budget ice creams. After all, when you spend less than $3 for a 48-ounce tub, you don't have high expectations. However, a quick glance at the ingredient list will convince you never to buy this again. Great Value's ice cream, and I use the term loosely, contains nearly every type of sweetener, including sugar, brown sugar, molasses, and corn syrup. You'll also find artificial flavors and mono and diglycerides that serve as stabilizers to hold together what should naturally hold itself together. All of that artificialness, and the texture is still disappointing. A few seconds after taking a scoop of this ice cream, you feel the gritty ice crystals scraping your tongue. This could happen when the ice cream doesn't have enough fat, meaning this barely qualifies as ice cream. Still, you can't get too mad because of the price. Plus, at least it's still ice cream, unlike the next household name. Number 16. Breyers. Breyers was built on the promise of all natural ingredients. But then several years ago, Breyers changed its formula. It stopped being all natural, and for the most part, it stopped being ice cream. Most Breyer products are now labeled as frozen dairy desserts. As Breyers lowered the milk fat content, it Rapelcheese OT with Tarragum, carob bean gum, and a cocktail of stabilizers. The result is a bouncy, slightly bubbly texture that feels wrong in your mouth. You might be thinking that at least Breyers still has ice cream products. However, with the amount of air whipped into them, they don't deserve to be called that. This is a common tactic used to reduce ice cream production costs. But the biggest betrayal of all was that Breyers lied about using real vanilla. Unilever was taken to court and had to pay $8.4 million in damages. But guess what? Breyers wasn't the only brand lying about vanilla. Number 15. Dreyer's/Edy's. For nearly a century, Dreyer's has been one of the most creative ice cream companies on the planet. The brand, also known as Edy's, invented the marvel that is Rocky Road, among other highlights. However, it turns out that Dreyer's is also good at inventing ways of cheating customers. The first bombshell was discovering that their vanilla ice cream did not contain real vanilla bean. Given the decline in taste, this wasn't a complete surprise. But then another lawsuit revealed something even more sinister. The chocolate on their chocolate-dipped ice cream bars was actually vegetable oil and coconut oil, not real milk chocolate. The slow-churned flavors promise less fat and fewer calories, but they contain 25% more sugar. And if you're wondering why Dreyer's ice cream tastes more watery than before, it's because it isn't ice cream. The company recategorized most of its ice cream lineup as frozen dairy dessert to keep costs low. We've got another brand selling desserts for ice cream next, but before then, it's time to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our fraud-busting videos. All set? Number 14. Favorite Day. Target's Favorite Day is the ultimate grocery store ice cream chameleon. It looks like a premium brand and touts its low calorie count. But in reality, this is an artificial blood sugar spiking mess that barely qualifies as ice cream. When you open the lid, you can already see tiny ice crystals forming. That already sets the bar low, but as soon as you taste it, it gets even lower. This ice cream is not creamy. Instead, it's a compilation of additives, sweeteners, and preservatives designed to mimic the smoothness of butterfat. On top of that, you can taste the artificialness of the ice cream. Favorite Day ice cream is also extremely airy. And while Target is whipping in the air, it's taking out the mix-ins. The cookie dough has very few cookie dough pieces. The same with the strawberry angel food cake and many others. Favorite Day is artificial and airy. The next brand is artificial airy and contains a dye the FDA knows causes cancer in animals. Number 13. Good Humor. Good Humor built its entire identity on the image of a cheerful ice cream truck pulling up on a hot summer day. That image is pure nostalgia. The product, however, is something else entirely. Most Good Humor novelties are not ice cream. They are frozen dairy desserts. And the ingredients list reads like a chemistry experiment. The strawberry shortcake bar, one of the brand's most iconic products, is made with non-fat milk instead of cream, and patted out with corn syrup, palm oil, soybean oil, coconut oil, multiple gums, and artificial flavors. That chocolate-looking coating on the novelty bars? It contains no real chocolate. It is coconut oil with artificial vanillin standing in as a flavor substitute. Most disturbing of all, the strawberry shortcake bar contains Red 3, a dye the FDA has acknowledged causes cancer in animals, yet it remains in the product. You are paying $5.44 for a six-pack of these bars at Walmart. That works out to about 91 cents a bar for a frozen dairy dessert laced with a cancer-linked dye and zero real chocolate. The Good Humor truck is a symbol of American childhood. What it is actually serving is something no responsible parent would knowingly hand over. Good Humor hides Red 3 in a nostalgic wrapper. The next brand doesn't even bother with the wrapper. They'll hand you plastic along with your frozen dessert. Number 12. Blue Ribbon Classics. There was once a time when you were looking for good quality, budget-friendly ice cream, and you bought Blue Ribbon. But here's the problem. It's no longer ice cream. Blue Ribbon no longer prints the words ice cream on most of its products. Instead, they are called frozen dairy desserts. According to the USDA, ice cream must contain at least 20% total milk solids and at least 10% milk fat. Milk solids below 6% will also disqualify a product from being ice cream. So, what's inside Blue Ribbon? Well, heart-stopping poison like high fructose corn syrup, sugar, corn syrup, and a bunch of vegetable oil and additives. Besides the highly disturbing list of ingredients, Blue Ribbon has also had a history of safety shortfalls. Last year, the brand recalled 18,000 units due to plastic contamination. The same thing happened in Australia in 2016. Up next is a brand that many still consider to be the best in the world, but has too many shocking secrets. Number 11. Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's is known for ethical sourcing, social justice crusades, and general good vibes. But it turns out that while Ben & Jerry's pretends to be on your side, its ice cream is gradually clogging up your arteries. Among all ice creams and frozen dairy desserts, Ben & Jerry's has one of the highest sugar levels. That's because they load their flavors with sugar, liquid sugar, corn syrup, molasses, honey, and brown sugar. Just one serving has as much as 33 grams of added sugar. That's more than the 30 grams recommended by most heart experts. Then there are the dozens of lawsuits, allegations, and investigations into its corporate practices. The brand has been accused of misleading customers about how its cows and farmers are treated. It has also been accused of profiting from migrant children and many other social injustices. At least Ben & Jerry's controversies stay in the boardroom. The next brand brought theirs straight into your freezer, twice. Number 10. Blue Bunny. Blue Bunny has been a freezer staple for decades, but the brand has been quietly building a troubling track record. In 2024, Wells Enterprises recalled Blue Bunny products due to a labeling problem that left allergy sufferers completely in the dark. Then, barely a year later, they did it again. In 2025, the company recalled nearly 18,000 containers of ice cream and frozen yogurt because batches were found to contain hard plastic fragments, posing real risks of dental injury and choking. 2 recalls in 2 years is not bad luck. That is a quality control problem, and the product itself is not worth the risk. Most Blue Bunny offerings are frozen dairy desserts, not ice cream, loaded with artificial colors like yellow 5 and red 40, multiple stabilizing gums, modified food starch, and artificial flavors. Independent food watchdogs have classified these products as ultra-processed, linking that category to heart disease, obesity, and type 2 diabetes. A 46-ounce tub runs about $3.87 at Walmart, and a 16-ounce pint costs $2.97. It sounds like a bargain, but when you are buying contaminated artificial frozen dairy dessert twice recalled in consecutive years, there is no price low enough to make it worth it. 2 recalls in 2 years is bad enough, but the next brand's problems start the moment you read the label. Number 9. Klondike. What would you do for a Klondike bar? If you read the label first, the honest answer might be nothing. Klondike has been quietly rebranding its products as frozen dairy desserts while keeping the premium ice cream image intact. The Crunch Bar lists non-fat milk and coconut oil as its primary ingredients, not cream, and follows them up with corn syrup solids, fructose, tara gum, guar gum, and locust bean gum. The no-sugar-added version is somehow worse. To replace the sugar, Klondike packs in acesulfame potassium, aspartame, and sucralose all at the same time. A trio of synthetic sweeteners with no business being in a frozen treat. Environmental watchdogs have flagged these bars for contributing artificial trans fats and high levels of saturated fat. Then, in 2025, Klondike's parent company dragged the brand into a plastic contamination recall, affecting nearly 18,000 containers. A six-pack of Klondike bars currently runs about $4.44 at Walmart. For that price, you deserve real ice cream, a clean ingredient list, and a manufacturer that has not recalled its products for plastic contamination. Klondike offers none of those things. Klondike will put plastic in your ice cream and hope you don't notice. The next brand will put the wrong ice cream in the tub and hope nobody ends up in the hospital. Number 8. Turkey Hill. When you think about Turkey Hill, it immediately takes you back to your childhood. This was the brand our parents trusted because it used premium ingredients, natural flavors, and ethically sourced ingredients. But then they got clumsy and started putting people's lives at risk. In 2016, Turkey Hill had a massive recall because some Dutch chocolate containers were filled with Rocky Road. Because Rocky Road contains almonds and eggs, it poses a serious risk to people with nut and egg allergies. Yet Turkey Hill didn't learn its lesson. In 2022, tubs of chocolate marshmallow ice cream were filled with peanut butter-flavored ice cream, endangering thousands of shoppers yet again. Turkey Hill has also quietly changed many products from ice cream to frozen dairy desserts. Packages stamped with premium ice cream now read, "Premium quality." No announcement, no warning. Mistakes can be forgiven, but intentional deception cannot. Well, maybe not all mistakes, because the next one is even worse. Number 7. Riches. Riches has established itself as the premier provider of frozen treats to school children through its Smart Snacks certifications. However, when you pretend to be a healthier ice cream alternative marketed to kids, you've crossed the line. Riches frozen desserts have significantly higher sodium and sugar content than other ice creams. A crumbled cookie cone has 12 grams of added sugar, which is half of a child's daily recommended intake. This can reach 37 grams in other products, such as its soft scoopable tubs. The other nightmare is the ingredient list. Corn syrup, a boatload of stabilizers, and maltodextrin feature prominently across board. Worst of all, Riches had to recall 100,000 cases of ice cream in 2025 due to a potential listeria outbreak. This bacterium can cause serious symptoms like convulsions, seizures, and intense headaches. Many people have criticized the Smart Snack program as a complete failure, and Riches proves it. We're going back-to-back with listeria-related recalls. Number 6. Friendly's. The Friendly's ice cream we all knew and loved as kids is not the same company it used to be. Literally, it's not the same company. Friendly's restaurant was going bankrupt, so it sold its ice cream business to Dean Foods in 2016. Then, Dean Foods went bankrupt 3 years later and sold it off again to Dairy Farmers of America in 2020. And that's when the problems started. The once premium brand has now started tasting funny. The flavors were duller, the ice cream wasn't as smooth, and it started tasting more artificial. Friendly's also stopped making its ice cream in-house, which led to a decline in quality control. That led to a massive recall in 2024 due to potential contamination with Listeria monocytogenes. However, the most dangerous thing about Friendly's is that it still uses high fructose corn syrup. HFCS has been discontinued by many companies due to its link to fatty liver disease, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. Speaking of deadly ice creams, the next brand took it literally. Number 5. Bluebell. Bluebell is a beloved Southern institution, and it's the brand Texans would defend with their lives. At least that was until it started actually claiming lives. In 2015, a listeria outbreak led to the hospitalization of 10 people and the death of 3 people. Bluebell was forced to recall 8 million gallons of ice cream, making it the largest recall ever. The news was devastating, but it would only get worse. It turned out that the CEO was aware of the contamination but tried to hide it. This led to an indictment, and in 2020, the company paid nearly $20 million in damages. Bluebell promised to do better, but it made another near-fatal mistake in 2025. Half-gallon tubs of Millennium Crunch ice cream were mistakenly filled with chocolate chip cookie dough, which contains tree nuts. There were no reported illnesses this time, but don't wait for a third. Instead, get your ice cream from the trusted brands in the next section. Bluebell hid contamination. The next brand hides something even more basic: what they're actually selling you. Number 4. Dairy Queen. Here is something Dairy Queen would prefer you never think too hard about. The company openly admits on its own website that its soft serve does not legally qualify as ice cream. To be classified as ice cream, a product must contain at least 10% milk fat. Dairy Queen's soft serve contains only 5%, so every Blizzard, every cone, every dilly bar you have ever eaten was never ice cream. It is a frozen dairy dessert served with a smile and a side of deliberate misdirection. And the ingredient list makes things worse. The soft serve contains corn syrup, mono and diglycerides, artificial flavor, polysorbate 80, and carrageenan, an additive linked in research to gastrointestinal inflammation and flagged for potential carcinogenic effects in animal studies. Meanwhile, a small Blizzard now runs between $4.99 and $5.89, and a medium can cost up to $6.99, depending on location. You are paying premium ice cream prices for a product the company itself admits is not ice cream. DQ has been doing this for over 85 years, and they are counting on you never asking why. At least Dairy Queen is honest about what they're selling. The next brand isn't, and your heart is paying the price. Number 3. Magnum. Magnum is the ice cream for grown-ups. Its rich, luxurious branding makes you feel like every bite is a reward. However, what they don't tell you is that your reward isn't good-tasting ice cream, but a trip to the emergency room. For a brand that pretends to be premium, Magnum has one of the worst ingredient lists. Besides questionable additives like mono and diglycerides, carrageenan, Magnum also uses high-fructose corn syrup. There is no justification for using a cheap heart-stopping additive in a $2 ice cream bar. The result of this abominable concoction is 11 grams of saturated fat in just one bar. That is just 2 grams less than what heart specialists recommend. Combine that with the 19 grams of added sugar, and you've got a real mess on your hands. With every bar of Magnum, you're risking weight gain, fatty liver disease, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and who knows what else. Those are the same risks contained in all 31 flavors of the next brand. Number 2. Baskin-Robbins. Baskin-Robbins used to stand for something. Premium ingredients, a great hangout spot, and the king of the food court. Now it's the king of artificial ingredients, and customers are mad. The first sign that the company was going downhill was shrinkflation. It reduced the size of its pints from 16 fluid ounces to just 12. The other thing it shrunk was the quality. One lick of the ice cream and you can taste the artificial flavors. That lingering sensation on your tongue and the occasional freezer burn are all the proof you need. Then, when you take a look at the ingredients, you can see what went wrong. High fructose corn syrup, sweetened condensed milk, and a bunch of food colorings that aren't permitted in Europe without a warning label. The result is up to 21 grams of added sugar in some flavors and heightened risks of cardiovascular disease. When it comes to risking your heart's health, there is one brand that's worse than all the others combined. Number 1. Halo Top. Halo Top burst onto the scene with a promise of healthy, guilt-free ice cream. Just 280 calories per pint? Sign me up! What we didn't realize was that the company was hiding a deadly secret in plain sight. To achieve this incredible feat, Halo Top uses sugar alcohols like erythritol and prebiotic fibers. In small amounts, these can cause minor issues such as bloating, cramping, and diarrhea. However, when you sell people on low-calorie foods, they tend to consume much more, and that's where the real danger lies. Studies have linked high consumption of erythritol to blood clots, heart attack, and stroke. The other thing the brand was hiding was that it used air to fudge the calorie numbers. Each pint has fewer calories because it has less actual ice cream. This led to a class action lawsuit in 2018. That is why more recent products have more calories. But enough about companies that take customers for granted. It's time to see the ones that sell real ice cream you can rely on. 8 real ice cream brands. Number 8, Van Leeuwen. If you want proof that clean ingredients and bold flavor can coexist, Van Leeuwen is your evidence. What started as a single yellow ice cream truck on the streets of Brooklyn in 2008 has grown into a national brand available in over 3,000 stores without ever compromising on what goes into the product. The vanilla bean ice cream contains exactly 7 ingredients: milk, cream, cane sugar, egg yolks, vanilla extract, salt, and vanilla beans. No gums, no corn syrup, no stabilizer cocktail, no frozen dairy dessert fine print. The brand's philosophy is simple. If you cannot pronounce it, it should not be in your ice cream, and they live by that standard across the entire lineup. Customer reviews consistently average above 4.6 stars, with fans singling out flavors like honeycomb, Sicilian pistachio, and brown butter pecan for their density and depth. At Walmart, pints are priced at $4.98, making this one of the most accessible premium ice creams on the market. Specialty retailers stock it at $6 to $10 per pint. Either way, you are getting the real thing. And at that price, there is almost no excuse not to. Van Leeuwen obsesses over what goes into the ice cream. The next brand obsesses over both. And the result is the only ice cream in America still made the old French way, 2.5 gallons at a time. Number 7, Graeter's Ice Cream. For 156 years, Graeter's has been making ice cream the same way, by hand in 2.5-gallon French pots. They are the only American ice cream company that still makes it this way, which is why their ice cream tastes different. Every scoop feels dense, creamy, and rich. The way the ice cream melts on your tongue, instead of sitting there like literal ice, is unique. That's how you can tell that the ice cream was made from fresh milk and no air was whisked into it. As for the rest of its ingredients, Graeter's adheres to whole food standards and avoids artificial colors and flavors. It also uses premium ingredients like gourmet chocolate from Peter's Chocolate and black raspberries from Oregon's Willamette Valley. The only problem critics have is the price. $12 a pint is a lot to spend on ice cream, but not when you want quality without compromise. As for the next artisanal brand, the price and the flavors are even more extreme. Number 6, Salt and Straw. Salt and Straw has rewritten the rules of ice cream making with its quirky, experimental, and often polarizing flavor combinations. This chef-driven approach is what makes their ice cream unlike any other. Take Arbequina olive oil, for example. Nobody would expect olive oils would go with ice cream, but Salt and Straw makes it work. Pear and blue cheese, strawberry, honey balsamic with black pepper, and even guava and cheese. It's the type of daring brands like Baskin-Robbins won't attempt, which is why Salt and Straw has a dedicated cult following. Here's what takes them to the next level. Even their vegan options taste great. They don't have the graininess of non-dairy ice cream. Because the company changes the flavors every month, the best way to buy it is in-store. Then you get to taste a few flavors before you pick a winner. Sadly, this ice cream is expensive. $12.95 per pint or $5.25 for a kid's scoop is more than what most people can afford. If you want premium ice cream at a more affordable price, try this instead. Number 5. Tillamook. For 114 years, Tillamook has maintained the same strategy, using real milk, real cream, and real ingredients. The result is a premium brand consistently ranked as the best tasting ice cream. Unlike other big producers, Tillamook doesn't cheat customers by whipping air into the ice cream. The texture is dense without being heavy, creamy without being greasy. It melts on the tongue in that particular way that only high-fat, well-churned ice cream does. Because Tillamook is run by a farmer-owned cooperative, great care is taken in selecting the milk. You're getting the very best Oregon dairy, combined with other simple ingredients. No carrageenan, no high fructose corn syrup, no artificial flavors, and no synthetic colors. And when you order a Tillamook flavor with mix-ins, you get exactly that: generous portions of chocolate chips, cookie dough, or whatever flavor you're getting. At $5.64 for 48 fluid ounces, this is a far better deal than most premium brands. However, if you want organic ice cream, our next brand holds that crown. Number 4, Strauss Family Creamery. Imagine a company that sets the bar so high its competitors don't even bother trying. Strauss Family Creamery is a family-owned, farmer-led company that has an insane commitment to organic ice cream. The cream, milk, sugar, egg yolks, vanilla extracts, and vanilla bean specks are all organic. If the brand stopped there, that would still be better than 99.9% of all other ice cream makers. But it just had to take it a step further. Strauss does not use any preservatives, fillers, artificial ingredients, or coloring agents. That means nothing that goes in your mouth is bioengineered, ever. Even indulgent flavors like cookie dough are made with all organic ingredients. The cherry on top is that the ice cream flavors taste incredible. A blind tasting conducted by Bon Appetit in 2022 placed Strauss in the top 2 for vanilla ice cream. The ice creams have a texture so dense and luxurious that it feels like it has weight. If you want an even more indulgent experience, the next brand pretty much invented the genre. Number 3, Häagen-Dazs Classics. There was a time when Häagen-Dazs and Ben & Jerry's stood neck and neck for the best store-bought ice cream. Now, Häagen-Dazs is the clear winner, and ironically, it didn't have to do anything special. Unlike Ben & Jerry's, Häagen-Dazs has remained committed to using as few ingredients as possible. Take Häagen-Dazs Vanilla Bean, for example. It only contains 5 ingredients: cream, skim milk, sugar, egg yolks, and vanilla extract. Even more complex offerings, like Rocky Road, don't contain any gums or artificial flavors. And unlike many other large brands, Häagen-Dazs doesn't use high fructose corn syrup. And yet, every scoop of Häagen-Dazs still delivers a decadent, creamy profile. Professional bakers and many culinary outlets have ranked Häagen-Dazs Vanilla Bean as the best vanilla ice cream. This is the type of accolade usually won by artisanal brands. For Häagen-Dazs to still be at the top of the game nearly a century later is truly impressive. While Häagen-Dazs remains the best store-bought ice cream, it still can't match up with the best gelato. Number 2, Talenti. Outside of Italy, most people confuse gelato and ice cream, but there is a difference. Gelato has less air, less fat, and is served at a slightly warmer temperature than ice cream. The result is a denser, richer, and slightly creamier dessert. But the way Talenti does it takes it to a new level. The brand became famous for its transparent jars. Without opening the lid, you can see the texture of the gelato. No ice crystals, visible mix-ins, and a clear sign that the company isn't hiding anything from you. Then, when you taste it, you never want to go back to traditional ice cream. Each spoonful actually tastes healthier than ice cream. Maybe that's because Talenti slow cooks its ingredients, which helps maximize the natural flavors. And speaking of ingredients, the brand likes to keep it simple. Real cream, milk, non-GMO sugar, and egg yolks are the dominant flavors. At $5.48 for a pint, this is still one of the more affordable premium desserts. However, if you still prefer traditional ice cream, it's time to meet the queen. Number 1, Jenny's Splendid Ice Creams. When Jenny Britton Bauer founded Jenny's Splendid Ice Creams in Columbus, Ohio in 2002, even she couldn't have predicted how successful the brand would be. Here, idea was simple yet radical: make ice cream the way a pastry chef would. And so, she reinvented the cooking process. Rather than using egg yolks as an emulsifier, Jenny developed a proprietary base using cream cheese and starch. The combination creates an almost impossibly smooth, stretchy texture that holds together at any temperature without gumminess or crystallization. It is genuinely a breakthrough in ice cream science. To that, she adds highly selective ingredients: grass-grazed milk from Ohio family farms, single-origin chocolate from Askinosie, Tahitian vanilla from Madagascar, and stone fruit from local orchards. Her original flavor creations are where the wow factor detonates. Jenny's Salty Caramel is the best caramel-flavored ice cream on the market. There are also unique flavors like Brambleberry Crisp and Brown Butter Almond Brittle that will ruin you for other ice cream brands. This is what happens when a company doesn't compromise. And this is why Jenny's reigns supreme. That wraps up our expose on brands that have cut corners and no longer deserve to be called ice cream, and those still doing it right. Of course, ice cream isn't the only dairy product that has been compromised. If you love yogurt, you need to watch this before your next trip to the store.